Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Kona Ice. Kona Ice is a shaved ice truck that brings a one-of-a-kind tropical experience to you. Guests can flavor their own Kona Ice on our signature flavor wave, dance to our island music tunes, and enjoy a nutritious and delicious treat. Contact Jeremy and Marissa at 352-403-0515. Don't forget to follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Pat's Taps at Catfish Johnny's. Pat's Taps is Lake Penosofsky's newest tap room, offering 14 rotating craft beers on tap. We also offer bottled domestic beers, seltzers, ciders, and wine, as well as a variety of appetizers and pub. Our family-friendly tap room is a great place to come hang out and enjoy some one-of-a-kind craft beer. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or the Untapped app. Is the exterior of your home or business covered in dirt, mildew, or mold? Driveway or walkway stained? Pressure King can make your siding, deck, vents, and concrete look new again with no damage. Pressure King has cleaned the exterior of houses and businesses all over Sumter County area. Usually it takes less than a day and costs less than you would expect. Call AJ at 352-457-7209. All right, welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Goblay Show. I'm excited to have our guest today. He's a good friend of mine. I got to watch him play high school baseball. I really didn't get to see him play too much younger baseball than that because I didn't really know of him. I knew of his family, but not of him yet. And so today, without further ado, our special guest is Mr. Jacinto Arredondo. Jacinto, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you for having me, bro. Appreciate it.
So what are you doing these days? Like, what, you keeping busy? You staying healthy?
Just hanging out with the family, help my dad's, big landscaping business in the villages, and then doing a lot of baseball lessons on the weekends.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you got your baseball lessons. I've seen you out. You've worked with our team. And the kids really respond really well to your teaching and coaching methods, and that speaks a lot for what you do for our guys coming up in the system. They look up to you. They talk about you all the time. So I think you're doing a great job. But for every guest that I've had on here, we want to start over, and people who don't know you will get a little bit of a taste of history, your journey to where you are today. And so let's go back, and I like to say that a lot. Let's go back, and we'll say, how did it all start? Like, I mean, when did you find out that you had a love for baseball?
Obviously, well, I'm not going to say obviously. Honestly, as soon as right there in Webster, man.
Yeah.
Playing Dixie ball, T-ball, I was like, I love this. So, I knew I loved it when I started sleeping with my glove and my bat. Yeah. And it might be weird nowadays, but back then, my buddies, we talk about it with them, playing pro ball and college ball. I was like, man, I think I was weird because I used to sleep with my baseball and my glove, or my baseball bat, I'm sorry. But I was like, man, I think I just love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes you, it shows your love for it. And I don't think there's anything weird about that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's one of those things where you have to find that passion, and it starts with being around your equipment for quite a bit. So, did you play? You said Webster, or you said
Webster
yeah. Baseball. Okay, so we've talked about that with Coach Kinley and Boo Hart, Clinton Hart, and a lot of people don't know about Webster baseball and how it was. I called it the crown jewel back in the day. It was something special. And there's a lot of kids that came through the system, a lot of great baseball players. I mean, I played with a bunch of awesome baseball players. And I know it trickled down, and every year, you got better and better, and it just found like, when that was gone, it just seemed like, everything just kind of faded away. You know what I mean? So, what was your who was your? Do you remember coaches? Do you remember what team? I mean, just go for it. What do you?
So my first coach, it was hold on, I played for the Mets. My first T-ball.
Okay.
I was okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, stand out. I was just getting into it.
Yeah.
I feel like this was everyone in the first year, and then like in the summer, I just picked it up out of like nowhere.
Right.
It was Stacy Upshaw.
Okay.
She was my first coach, and that year was kind of like a blur to me because I feel like I was just getting into it, and then like the next year, obviously my dad was my coach for me, and I forgot who else on our team. It was just so long ago. It was like for Jackie's Market. It was like a green team.
Okay.
And Clint Hart, he used to come out there. There's actually a picture my dad has at his house. It's like one in all the trophy pins and stuff like that. And he's in the background. We're taking the team photo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Before opening day or opening day.
Yeah.
But yeah, and my dad he stopped coaching me after my T-ball days. Like my dad wasn't my coach till high school. So I was with Danny McCoy.
Okay.
Wendell Gill,
Yes.
Grew up with Wendell Gill.
Yeah.
Love him. Danny McCoy, same thing, respect. Like everything I got was from them.
Yeah.
And I always played in Webster.
Right.
It was just my last year when I was 12. I think something happened with Webster. I think they didn't have like a league no more or something like that. But I promised myself I would never go to Bushnell.
Yeah.
Not because I didn't hate them. There's like Webster and that Bushnell rival was there back then.
Yeah. I get that. I get that.
So we went to Wildwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's when you said the Mets, it's funny because I can distinguish like around the time you played because my brother, when he played, it was an actual MLB team. I think they were the Houston Astros, and then they were the Athletics one year. Mm-hmm. But when I played, it was like you said, Jackie's Market. But back then it was called Stop and Save. It was Stop and S-A-V, no E. Okay, so it's Stop and Sav. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. But it was cool. Those teams are like iconic, Mm-hmm. And then you get the MLB teams in there, and it kind of took away from it a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you got to if you played and they had the stirrups. Like they used to give us stirrups. Like you'd put them on like back in the 70s and 80s. It was a big thing. Mm-hmm. It could be before that, but I remember seeing pictures specifically of like people with, and I'm like, and they were a pain in the butt to wear because it was something you had to put on over your socks.
Yeah.
And but it was a cool thing. It was a cool atmosphere. Mm-hmm. People took a lot of pride in that league. Mm-hmm. And I think it's Coach Kenley and I touched base on it a little bit, and no pun intended. But he pretty much said it was the parents. Like the parents really cared back then. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying parents don't care now, but there's not as many. Yeah. There were I'm sure there were parents that just dropped their kids off so they could have a little bit of time to themselves. Yeah. And or maybe they thought, the classic, they're not going to listen to me, so maybe they'll listen to you. I've had that happen so many times where like, I can't get my kid to do anything. Mm-hmm. And then you're able to, somebody that's out of the box can teach them a little more because they're not so defiant. That's just my dad. He's always on my case about something. He's always telling me how to throw, or hit, Yeah. But, So you played till 12 years old. You said you went to
Wildwood last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how was that playing at Wildwood? Wildwood used to be I'm telling you.
Well, the facilities are nice, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is not throwing shade for anyone. It's just it's just the facts. They got a nicer facility than Bushnell does.
Really.
And it's just because I do some lessons out there,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, when I was playing there, I remember I was 12. It was Wendell Gill, Jeff Green. I'm trying to think who was our other coach, but those are the two. I grew up, they'd be my coaches, Right. And they brought like 4 or 5 of us over there, and we combined with them, and we were good.
Yeah.
We just, fell short at state, but like it was different. For me, my first year in Wildwood and my last year was weird, you know. But I was like, man, like something is me still. I still miss Webster because you know Center Hill's right there. You take that. I keep forgetting the name of the road. I've been there, like it's like you take from Center Hill the back road all the way to Webster.
Oh, that's 478. That's where I grew up. Yeah,
and you're right there,
right on the curves, baby.
So like I remember my dad had his pickup truck. His Chevy still has it at the house, like a 95 or 97. And we used to ride in the back of the bed.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, back then,
nobody cared. Nobody
cared
about kids.
And, but
I always say that, yeah. I mean, jokingly, but yeah.
I could still remember so much stuff. Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, I miss playing in Webster, man.
Yeah.
Like, those were the good days because, like, it was so much competition.
Yeah.
Not saying there's competition now, but it's like you had more. Like, I felt like you were playing for more.
Right.
You know? But it was like, man, I miss it. But that last year in Wildwood was pretty good too. I ain't gonna lie. And I mean, my brothers, I know when Webster fell apart, they came to Bushnell anyways because, you know, there's better competition, you know, obviously.
Right.
And I was like, nah, I'm not going to Bushnell.
Right.
I've always told myself I'm not going to go Bushnell. And plus, I'm going to stay with Wendell, you know.
Yeah.
I grew up, he took me everywhere because my dad stopped coaching me and he coached my brothers, you know.
Right.
So, but yeah.
We, Alan Shirley and I coached, I think it was 7 and 8 or 9 and 10. I can't remember which one it was, but we were the last like official Webster team. And I remember going over there. We practiced in Webster. We practiced on the Dixie Boys. Sorry for that noise. That's a nice bird serenading serenading us. I feel like we're out in the park right now. Sorry, knock it off. No. Anyways, going back to that, it was a lot of kids. We went over there. They came over. We had a full team. You know, the interest was there, but it was kind of like the outsiders. You know, like and then you know I remember them. You know, they're like, and you know, coming from Webster, you know, and I was like, oh, just kind of like, thank you. I feel like wanted, but not really. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of weird because it was like, why would you say that out loud? Like, and they come all the way from Webster, you know, like
it's like 5 or 6 miles away.
yeah, they made the trip.
Y'all came on a charter bus or something.
If we'd have pulled up on a charter bus, oh my God, we would have way more money than we needed. If
that's true.
But let me ask you this: talking about Webster League, so we don't forget. Did you ever play cup ball?
What is it?
Cup ball.
No, never heard of that.
Back in the day, they used to give us wax cups that they would give us. Okay, so like after every game, and somebody's gonna listen to this and go, "Oh my gosh, yeah." They used to give us wax cups, and they were Coca-Cola cups. And when everybody got a free Coke after the game, right? That's all you look forward to. Win or lose, doesn't matter. You're like, we know they got a Coke for us up there. So we went up there, and you grab the Coke, you drink it, you're hanging out after the game. Well, anyways, you'd step on it, ball it up, and you would throw that ball of wax, and you use your hand and it was cup ball.
What? Hey.
And we take some other cups, make the bases. So you'd have your first, second, third, home. Home was pretty much the wall of the concession stand. Yeah. Between the playground and the concession stand, it was right in that area right there. You get that hand ready, whack, and you just start running around. And this is way before iPads.
Yeah.
But it was cool because I'm like, man, I wonder if anybody else remembers cup ball. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like history, dude.
Yeah, no, it was something that we did, and everybody played. And it was like, and then if you weren't playing a game, I mean, you're still in your uniform. I mean, like, so you're playing. It's like a miniaturized yard game that we just made up, you know. But we also played. We played burn ball with a racquetball or whatever. Yes. That was common, you know. But you just found ways to entertain yourselves in between games. You always had a sibling that was, you know, on another field, and you're like, man, I ain't watching them play. You know, especially like T-ball or whatever. You're like, you know, you didn't know how comical it was back then. You know, it's hilarious when they spin around, and I've seen kids do cartwheels and stuff like that, getting on base, and it's hilarious. But anyways, you move on. Let's journey on. Let's see. So you turn. You're in middle school now. Did you play?
So I played Dixie Boys right here in Bushnell.
Okay.
Because, I mean, no, I think no one else had Dixie Boys, so
right.
everyone just came over here, and that's when I started realizing, like, oh, shoot. Like, I felt like I've always been good, but I felt like I started separating myself from all the people that was in my class.
Right.
And I'm not saying easily, but I'm just going to say it's because how I was raised and how my dad, trained us and raised us, especially me and my brothers and my sister.
Right.
And, I was like, dang. Like, I'm starting to separate myself,
Right.
And I was a little cocky back then. I don't understand. Now I look back, I'm like, why are you doing that? What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like the cringiest thing to look back at, and you're like,
you're a kid.
You get older, and you're like,
kid.
come on now. But think back to it, I'm just like, man, I miss those days, because Dixie Boys was fun, and I was 13, and you have 13 and 14. So when you're 13, especially when you make All-Stars, you do All-Stars, you stay with the 13s.
Right.
And then the next year you obviously go to 14s. But man, that's how I knew I was gonna become a pitcher. I started having, like, I was playing against 14-year-olds, and like, yeah, they'll piece up some balls when you're older, but I was like, I had a lot of strikeouts, dude. And I was like figuring out my curveball. Yeah. And it was just the nastiest thing I've ever, like, I was like, this is really coming out my hand right now. But hey, we're gonna run with it.
Right.
And I played trial ball.
Right.
Obviously at 11 years old, so that's where I started getting all my work in and stuff like that.
Right.
Or I actually started playing travel when I was 7, but I never started. I always rode the pine, and I played with a travel ball team out of Bushnell called the Chargers, because Boot Hart was our sponsor.
Okay.
Her coach is Brian Simmons. We had Brian Simmons. We had, I think, Joey Hooten, and man, there was someone else. It's been so long ago, Jesus. And then we switched over to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Or one of them came before the other one. They were still the same coaches and stuff like that. But I always rode the pine. And those kids were older than me. I was always younger. Yeah. And that hurt, like, that hit me in my heart so hard. I remember I was like, God, my dad was mad. He was like, ah. But my dad's not the type of guy like, hey, why my kid ain't playing? Nah. He's like, we're going to work. He said, if you're going to ride the pine, then that means we're going to work. Yeah. And I took that as like, it's furious. I'm like, I know they're not better than me. I know they're not better than me, because I'm going to turn up on them, Right. And as a young age, you're like, I'm better than them, But I would never say it out loud. It's just like, you know what? Actions speak louder than the words, So I played 11 with Brooksville Bulldogs.
Okay.
Again, longtime coach, Bruce Price. Yeah. I love him to death to this day. Text me, It's hard to reach out to him. It's hard to hear him reach out to me, because you're older. Everyone has families. Everything goes about their lives when they're older. But I caught my whole life, man. And then going into Dixie Boys, started pitching more. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna run off with this thing. Right. And something's good's gonna happen. And I miss those days, especially Dixie Boys and Bush. I never thought I was gonna play in Bush, but I had to because of Dixie Boys. Right. But those are one of the funnest days of baseball, man.
Oh yeah, man.
Fun.
Didn't know how good you had it.
Yeah, it was just so fun. Like, I wish a lot of these kids, not tell them to grow up and like think about it, but I wish they were like, just take it in right now. Yeah. Because when you get to high school, it's still fun. Yeah. College is fun. Right. When you go to pro ball, yeah, it's fun, but it's all about money. Right. So I miss those days playing in Webster, and then you come into, went to Wildwood last year, and then Dixie Boys and Bush. And I'm like, dude, those are the best days, man. Yeah. Best days.
Well, there was I can't remember where I saw this, but there was a coach who told his professional players, go back to Little League when you had fun. And why did you do it? Why were you playing this sport in the first place? And if you can't remember that, then you don't need to play it. If you can't go back to the time that you had fun and that's the reason why you did it, then you shouldn't be doing it. Because that should be the number, the number one thing. Yeah, you can make money and stuff, but like you said, going back to the good old days, I tell our team all the time. I tell Coco, I was like, man, you just gotta have fun out there, man. He's one of our pitchers, and I'm like, just go out there and have fun. Because when you get older, you're gonna go, man, I wish I could go back and just do the things I used to, and it's not gonna be like that anymore. Oh yeah. So, it's one of those things where it's like anything in life. When you get older, you're like, well, I'd like to go back and you take it for granted and everything, but I think it's just the way it is. If we knew then what we know now, probably wouldn't be as fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you probably wouldn't take as many chances. You know what I mean? It's like you wouldn't be as adventurous or risk taking.
Yeah.
Especially in your younger day, your teen years, your early 20s.
Yeah.
Trust me, there's things I'm not even an old man yet, but I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Like, and at the time you're like, yeah, that's a great idea, and you're like, no, that's not how you do things.
Yeah.
So high school, you move on to high school, freshman year. How's that work out for you? You're on JV or?
I was on JV.
JV, okay.
And you know how in high school they had the preseason?
Oh, yeah.
So I believe we were playing in Zephyr Hills, but I don't know. We had like 2, so they moved like at least like 4 or 5 was up because the JV season hadn't started yet. And then when JV started, dude, that's when like, man, freshman year was fun, dude. Like, yeah, you're on JV, but there was like not saying there's competition now. There's obviously competition, because baseball's moving forward.
Right.
But like, freshman year was so fun, man. Like, cause that's when you like knew you're like, all right, do I see my career after high school moving on?
Right.
And I was like, man, I'm grinding. I'm doing what I have to do. I'm still playing travel ball. But like high school, I think travel ball I'm not trying to get off subject, but like travel ball helped me get prepared for high school.
Right.
And a lot of people don't think that way, but that like I would just, as my family as a whole, we were like, I feel like we're not the only ones.
No.
And it just got us ready for high school. Because when you got to high school, and especially on JV, you're like, oh, like, this ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm about to take off. So, like, a whole JV season was a good season. Like, I can still think about it right now. I'm like, man, it was a good season, And I'm at the end of the season, moved up to varsity. I remember Coach Bigfoot, he told me, he's like, hey, we're going to move you up. I forget if it wasn't just me. I had to be like 2 or 3 other people, obviously. Yeah, it was like 3 or 4, like somewhere in that range. We moved up,
right? And
we're playing Willingston. He's like, you're gonna DH, and it was a regional game, and I was like, oh God. In my head, I'm like, I'm not nervous. I'm just like, that just hit me out of nowhere, And I remember that we were getting no hit, and I was batting 8th or 9th on varsity. That's when Clay Simmons was our shortstop. Jared Lozano was our third baseman, all that. Cameron Hayes was our catcher, and Isaiah was playing, because Isaiah and Jalen were sophomores,
right?
We'll get to that after the years go on.
Right.
And, I'm trying to think. First base was Michael Ray. My God. Yeah, it's been so long ago. But, yeah, he said, you're going to DH, and we're getting no hit.
Yeah.
Little freshman comes to the bat. They're throwing this guy. Supposed to be their guy. He wasn't throwing, nothing too crazy, but you could tell, like, oh, he's,
right.
He knows his stuff. He's experienced. But as a freshman, I'm like, I'm going to sit fastball, because if he throws me a breaking ball, I don't know what he got.
Right.
But he throws a fastball in the zone. I'm just going to swing and this hole, it gets in the hole. Like, I'm going to try to shoot it somewhere.
Right.
Got the first base hit of the game, for the team. And I was like, oh.
There you go.
I was like, that gave me confidence, because I was like, you know what? Here we go.
Right.
But, of course, we lost that game.
Right.
Like, it's like 5-2, 5-3, something like that. And
Who was that team?
It was Willingston.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when they had Austin Langworthy. He went to UF.
That's right.
I don't know if he moved to go pro. Probably. Not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he was an outfitter for UF. Yeah.
I wanted to touch base on. You were talking about travel ball.
Mm-hmm.
I have kind of mixed feelings about it. And I know a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, if it's your thing, that's your thing.
Yeah.
I've heard professionals say, look, people don't need to play baseball all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And on that perspective, I agree with that because your body needs to do, especially as a kid, you need to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, if you want to do that and your kid, hear me out. If your kid loves to play baseball, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
If your kid hates baseball, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are they got blinders on. They go, wow, I want what's best for my kid. And the kid hates it. Yeah. Like, they're not going to tell their parents because they like going off every weekend. They like the hotels and going to tournament play. But if they don't like it, it just, to me, it's just, that's such a, it's not just travel ball. It could be for your daughter. It could be dance. She hates it. Yeah. Why are you doing it? Why are you making them do it? And I'm not saying that happens all the time. I'm saying, but it has happened. Yeah. But there's people that are, like I said, they're blinded. They're like, nope, I'm going to do this. But on the other side, I get it. The more reps, the better you're going to be, obviously. Yeah. So, yeah, there's two sides of the coin. And I guess it's how it's like anything else. If you overdo it, you know, you can make somebody not want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, so like an example, if like your kid likes to play baseball or football and they do it so much, by the time they get to high school, they don't want to do it. Yeah. We have a lot of kids who play Little League. Now, I know there are other circumstances. Don't get me wrong. I know there are other variables like they can drive now. They don't want to go to practice. Yeah. They get lazy. I understand all that. But less and less kids play. You're like, man, what happened to this team that won the state as a kid? Yeah. Now, is that just because they all got everybody else caught up, or you know what is that? What is that? I mean,
I think they get comfortable, they get content. Yeah. So like,
agree with that.
I'm not saying it because I never won anything in Dixie Youth or anything, but I think that's like when you win something from here, right? Especially for us being like a small county, town, country, town. You know, when Dixie Youth was here, they're like, oh, yeah, you don't. And then when they go to high school, that's when you get tested. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and going back to travel ball, right? I understand in both ways. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, hey, you got to play travel ball, be good, you know? And I mean, yeah, you do, but it's like you got to be built different for it. Yeah. Like you obviously got to be built different because there's a difference between loving baseball and having a passion. Yeah. And that's what, and I'm not trying to be biased. That's what my family had. We had passion. Right. And there's a reason why that my dad had 4 boys. Yeah. And he has, my younger sister, our only sister. That's the reason why we all went to college to go play ball. And one of us went to go play pro, but it's because we have passion. Right. And we played travel ball every single weekend. Yeah. So one time in like a 2-day period of time, and I could tell why kids like they start hating it after. Play like 4 or 5 games in one day. Yeah. And you're tired, Yeah. And you're catching cramps at a young age. You're like, dude, what is going on? But that's where you're like, all right, do I really love this or this is my passion? Right. And that's where I was like, I caught on. I was like, this is my passion, man. Right. I see myself climbing up and like and a lot of kids, a lot of parents, they do push their kids to play travel ball. Because I think it's because they want to, I don't know, try to fit in or like you see everyone else do it. Right. But if your kid is not built for it, then why try to push him for it? And I understand you trying to get them to do things, with their friends and all that. That's understandable, you know what I'm saying? So that's why you're going to be like, what happened whenever they go to high, they move on and like, what's going on? I think that's what happens, because they get so content. Right. And I tell my lessons this. I'm like, bro, like, and I talk to him like, or like, that's my little friend, you know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking like, hey, I'm this, I'm that. No, I'm talking to him like, hey, man. I'm just trying to give you some advice. You take it in, you want to, if not, it's okay. Right. It ain't gonna hurt my feelings. Right. And I go, right now, you're not the best version of yourself, obviously. You're still young. And a lot of them think they're the best version of themselves right now. Absolutely. And they got their parents right there telling them. Yeah. And their parents, when they get to high school, they're gonna understand. Yep. You're gonna run into some boys. Yep. And I mean by boys, I mean like other teams, other schools. Yeah. And they're gonna get humbled. But that doesn't mean like, oh, you get punched in the mouth. What I mean by being punched in the mouth is like you hit this wall where your kid's like not what he used to be back in like Dixie Youth or Little League, whatever, travel ball, But that's where that passion was like, all right, what can I do to be better? Right. And I feel like a lot of kids get content and parents get content too. It's not just the kids, it's the parents. Right. They're tired of going to practice games. And like, why? You got them into it.
Yeah.
You know, why aren't you willing to drive your kid to like tournaments or drive your kids to lessons? Right. And I love lessons, man. I feel like you learn a lot, especially on one-on-one or like 2v1, which I'm like the only guy. And you're doing 2 kids or 3 kids at one time because they're all like, oh my God. And I tell them stories like, dude, this is what I did every single day to be better because I want to be separated. Right. And I wanted to put, my dad already made a household name for himself, right? For our family. Right. But I was like, I want to be better than my dad. Yeah. I know I can be better than him. Yeah. Obviously, he's a better hitter. Like, you hear stories, he's just, like, supposed to be this hitter. I don't know. I mean, you read in the newspapers, like, my grandma has them all. My dad has some. And I'm just like, I want to be better than that. Yeah. But I was the pitching version. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm going to run off with this. Yeah. Because I know my dad's not a better pitcher than me, obviously, because he's a catcher. But I wish kids can think like that. Yeah. And I wish parents could think like that. But they're just so content of thinking their kids are good right now. Yeah. But you got to think about the future. And they're not thinking about I feel like they say they're thinking about the future, but that's just the mouth talking. Right. That's not like this talking and this talking. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's just like you see a lot of kids because when we go to high school, you're like, man, they used to play baseball with me. What's going on? Yeah. It's because they fell out of love with it. And of course, you said they start driving, you know, their minds going to like different things. They want to adventure, girls, obviously, you know, that's a big thing too, you know? I
mean, and don't get me wrong, it's not just baseball, it's football and basketball, it's everything. But you know, you see the kids like football, you're like, all right, I remember them playing Wolfpack or middle school, and here they are, and you expect them to be there. Mm-hmm. But baseball just, to me, just sound like there's no accountability anymore. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, if they show up, they show up. Our JV squad should be really good.
With that being said, we have like 12 freshmen. Mm-hmm. This burns me up inside. Just talk about this. All right. 12 freshmen. They're good. All right. They're just young. That's not an excuse no more to me because now I'm coaching, you know, helping coaching. I'm like, dude, they are so young. It's probably one of the strongest classes since I think since my brother's been there, D. He graduated in 2018. Right. They had a strong freshman class because when I was a junior, a lot of them moved up with us in varsity and they helped us out a lot. Gotcha. Like, I give them a lot of credit. That's a lot of credit. Right. Especially for 2 years, you know, for the 4 years that they were there too. I see the class and I tell them like, bro, y'all don't understand. That's like, I know y'all have talent, but there's like no chemistry. Yeah. I feel like tri ball, there's a little bit chemistry, but you have kids from everywhere. Right. Especially you got like this little Wolfpack team here in Bushnell. They have chemistry because they're, you know, that's around my brother. They used to play for Team Bushnell. You know, they're really good because they had chemistry. But if you're going out and playing with other tri-ball teams, it's going to be hard. But still, you're getting reps and you're getting exposed and stuff like that. That's a good thing. But, like, our freshman class is good, man. And, like, next year, there's going to be another freshman class. And I told the freshman class, I said, dude, you think you're going to make the team next year? We're 1-11. Yeah. That's horrible. Yeah. That's bad. And I'm like, you think your spot is, like, it's already, you're good for next year. No, you're not. If you think that's how it is, wait till you go to college. Wait till you go in the pros, you know? Yeah. And I told him, I said, you got to work hard, bro. You know? And I understand you're young, but we also have like 4 or 5 of them moved up to varsity, probably more. And it's just a young team, man. We only have like 2 seniors, 2 or 3 juniors, and like 6, 7 sophomores, and the rest are like freshmen. So we're young, we're growing. You know, I mean, I do see a future. I mean, I want to be the head coach so bad, you know, because
I know you do.
Knowing what I know and not just saying because I went and did all this. Nah, that's just, I know there's a blueprint I can help these kids, and I want these kids to get the same opportunity that I had. Yeah. And that like a lot of my buddies I was growing up in high school had, and then like my brothers obviously had. Right. And our friends, high school friends had. And like to show this generation now that's in high school and be like, hey, there's a whole different world out there. Oh, yeah. If you want to move on, show me because I can help you. Right. And that just burned me up inside right now because I shut my mouth. I'm like, dang, it's a lot of talent. You could see it like every other game or every other 4 or 5 games when we ain't losing. And we're like, dang, he's there, man. It's just, it has a click.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Catfish Johnny's Restaurant, serving the Lake Pennsauken and surrounding areas since 1990. For the last 33 years, we have strived to serve great food at great prices and a friendly, casual atmosphere. If seafood isn't your thing, our burgers or wings are the best around. We have daily specials too. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram for more information. Central Screen Services LLC, in collaboration with Mask & Sons Incorporated. All screen services are available. We offer a variety of colors, durability, and sizes for all your screening needs. Pool areas, patios, and more. Call 352-603-4099 today for your free estimate. Proudly serving all of Citrus, Sumter, Hernando, Lake, and Pasco counties. To find out more, check them out on Facebook. Lions Only Landscape. Looking for landscaping or trimming done in your yard? They provide services such as landscaping, rocking, curbing, driveways, and more. Proudly serving the Villages area. Reach out to Mike Zapata or Fernando Arredondo for free quotes and more info. Duto Realty is a homegrown business with an eye for getting the job done right. From football games to Sunday school and everything in between, these ladies care about our community and the people in it. Helping buyers and sellers in all of Florida with all types of transactions, including residential, commercial, farm, or vacant land. They do it all. They even offer auction services and sellouts to always get the job done right. It's one of those things where you're just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like it will, but it's just the patience levels. Yeah. It's like, man, we got to wait for this, you know?
And I'm a very impatient person, by the way.
Oh, really?
So that's why I felt like I separated myself, like talent-wise and like my mind-wise from everyone else. Because I was like, I don't want to wait to be good. I want to be good right now. Right. So I'll do anything. So if I can get a lot of these kids by my lessons, right, and like my high school kids, and I tell them like, man, don't be afraid because you're already older and you feel weird getting a baseball lesson from your coach. Yeah. Like, I said, dude, I've been in your shoes. Yeah. There's a reason why I moved on. It's not because like, oh, you know my name or nah. It's because I worked hard, dude. Yeah. I had a passion for it. Yeah, I loved it, but I had a passion. Yeah. And I asked a lot of them like, hey, y'all play football, right? There's nothing wrong with football. They're in the weight room. Yeah. And they're getting stronger. Yeah. And that goes into baseball. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of them don't understand that when you go to college and you go to pro, you're in the weight room a lot.
All the time.
But they're doing different things, but you're still in the weight room.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, y'all got to take advantage of that weight room with football, please, because y'all can come out here and something may pop up. Like your talent, you're probably right here. Yeah. You can be up there the next year. You never know. And it's tough, man. It's tough. Well, but it's a patient thing, I guess.
Yeah. And I think what happens is when that opportunity comes, you need to be ready. Because a lot of people, the opportunity comes and they're not ready and they go, oh, what do I do now? Well, all that time that you spent should have been preparing for this moment. You know what I mean? And it's like, but let me ask you this. How good is, let's say, because we're talking about younger guys now, Mally Boone.
Okay. I look at him like he's my little brother. Yeah. All right. Because he's watched him and his family, all right, they watched us, like my family, grow up in this game. And remember his dad, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong, he goes, man, we used to watch y'all, man, when y'all were in high school. Y'all were oof. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, Mally and them, they looked up to y'all, man. Yeah. He said he looked up to you and all, like Jalen, Isaiah, your brothers, Mally got it. Yeah. His only thing is, he's dangerous. I wish he would know, like, he may think he's dangerous, but he needs to know for sure that he's dangerous. Yeah. He needs to be feared. Because you see other teams look at him like, oh my God, that's Mally. But if he, I feel like if he just turns it up one notch. Yeah. Especially Bubba too, his younger brother. Bubba, yeah. If Bubba fills into his body, oh my God. Yeah. And you got little Ish Rodriguez. Yep. He's something serious. He reminds me of my brother Diego. You know, like the shortstop, the way he plays, how he moves. And you can tell when someone has it, Yeah. I'm not saying it because my family knows him. No, it's obvious, Right. And we have someone else. We have like 4 or 5 more. They just don't they think they're talented, right? Yeah. But I think they're a little content because they think they're talented. That goes back to what we were saying before. And I can only tell so much. Like, I go in there, I'm an assistant coach. I like to have fun, you know. I don't like to play, like, tight. I don't like to coach tight. I like to be loose, you know. I like to have fun, like, talking, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Mally and Bubba and Ish, like, especially Mally, because he's just so big.
Right.
He's gifted, you know. That's God gifted right there. And they work hard.
Yeah.
Their dad's so hard on them.
Yeah.
I know that he was hard on them at a young age. Because that's just, that's how my parents were, especially my dad.
Yeah.
You know? And he's got it.
Let me tell you, Boone, his dad, James. You talking about every time? Okay, we used to call him. Well, I still call him Scoop. And I'm not quite sure how he got that name. My dad used to call him Scoop. I think it's maybe if I might be wrong, but his grandmother probably gave him that name. Because he playing baseball when we were little. But you talking about power? James hit a home run dead center. And I don't think it ever landed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just you're talking about power. I don't know if you remember Tater Jackson.
Mm-mm.
Tater, he's no longer with us. Rest in peace. But he hit one over the lights one night. I'm talking about a moonshot.
Yeah.
And these guys. So this is my favorite Tater story. Okay. Terrence Jackson is his real name. Well, we call him Tater. Center Hill baseball field. Mm-hmm. Okay. He hits a shot over City Hall, over Virginia Avenue, and hits that. I don't know what church that is. It's like a Presbyterian church. Mm-hmm. That little bell tower. Mm-hmm. Hit the bell tower, bro.
That's a bomb.
And he was 10 years old, man. 10.
Was he a lefty or righty?
I can't remember. All I remember is I think he was a righty.
That's a
bomb.
I
want to say he was a righty.
Because y'all used those bats back then too. Yeah. They were hot.
Yeah. Yeah. Ryan Shirley said he was standing on second base and he just watched it go over his head. It was something I'll never forget. Something I'll never forget. It was one of those things where you're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. It was magnificent. And you knew, that's what I mean by talent. We have the talent around here.
Yeah.
I was joking with Killington. I always talk about the well water in Webster. Yeah. And now they ought to bottle it, you know, and sell it. But talking about parents and how they get, you know, these kids that I played with, like Tater and James, you know, they got that. They had to have gotten that from their parents or their grandparents, and then they just keep passing it down. Hard work equals success, and you know you can't stress that enough. But you know, I don't know. It's just it's one of those things. You're going to do it or you're not.
Yeah,
and you have to make that decision. You know what I mean? I tell our kids all the time, like, look, you know, they get down on themselves really well. I don't know what it is about kids nowadays. I don't get it. But they make a bad play and they pout. And I told them the other night, I said, forgiveness is a wonderful thing. Mm-hmm. But if you can't forgive yourself, you can't forgive somebody else. So, but it starts with you. Mm-hmm. If you can't forgive your own self, then there's no point. Yeah. You don't understand it and you don't mean it. You have to do yourself first. And a lot of kids just it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing how they just get down on it.
I'm not gonna call out no names, but obviously it's the high school, right? You hit a good point right there. You should be on a Joe Rogan podcast, by the way. But,
I love Joe Rogan.
Yeah, great podcast too. He's a good guy.
Oh yeah.
The kids nowadays, it blows my mind because I would never think, like, coming in to coach, I was like, nah, these kids are, they're straight. And they're good kids. You can tell they're good kids. Yeah. But when they make an error, they strike out or they pop up or do, it's baseball, man. You're going to mess up. Yeah. Yeah, you can't be perfect.
That's why you have like 5 times the bat.
I got kids who are 15, 16, 17 years old throwing their helmets in the dugout. And obviously I've done it one time, but
we've all done
I did not do it like these kids nowadays. Yeah. I think like that is like, eyewash. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I get feared. There's a couple of times like, what are you doing? Like, you look like a clown. You do that. Like, so the other team looks at that and are like, oh, we got him. It's easy.
Yep, we're in his
and
head
I'm
now.
just like, bro, you don't understand, because like if there was like a college scout out there, pro scout, who knows? You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
And they could literally look at you and be like, got the roster and check, man. He's in his own head. Yeah. He's a head case. Yeah. What he's gonna do to help me?
Yeah.
And they don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? And then going back to like the Mally thing.
Yeah.
Bro, I haven't seen him do that. I haven't seen Bubba do that. I haven't seen Ish do that. I haven't seen a lot of these guys. So that's why I'm like, oh, they separated themselves from like the other players. Yeah. And I'm gonna shout them out, because I give credit when credit's due. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, these kids nowadays just get mad.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't get it.
Hey, dude, I play professional baseball, right? I told him, I said, I've walked 4 batters in a row, dude. Yeah. This past year, walked 4 batters in a row. I was like, oh my God. I took a deep breath and I was like, you know what? Forget it. It's one of those games, man. You just got to keep grinding, keep pushing. Yeah. Of course, when I came to the dugout, my coach let me hear it. And I was like, you know, it is what it is. Like, I live and learn from it. And these kids, I wish they can do that. But, like, they're spoiled, man. They're spoiled nowadays. Yeah. Because, like, you go back, like, what was different back then from now? We weren't spoiled back then. Yeah. And I might just say, I'm 25. Like, yeah. My dad didn't. My dad did not spoil us. Yeah. All right. We didn't have nothing. Yeah. Obviously, but like still, like we had each other. Like, but like he goes, man, you gotta earn it. Like if you make an error or you do something, like he's screaming in our faces, like, what are you doing? Right. But we learn from it. And these kids, if they can learn from it, they don't understand how much higher they can keep climbing in this game. Not even in the like going to college or pro, whatever, but like day by day. Yeah. But they don't think about it. And the parents don't think about it. No. And I wish I can, like, go out there and have 300 of them out there and I talk to them. Like, hey, y'all get mad when y'all make an error. Yeah. Those guys in the pros, they make errors. Yeah. They strike out. Yeah. Dude, you can go to bat 300 times out of 1,000, and if you get a base hit 300 times out of 1,000, yeah. Like, you batting 300, dude. Like, why are you mad? Yeah. Like, they don't understand that though, and it's okay. They're gonna. I hope they learn throughout, the days and the years and stuff like that. But it's just what it is right now.
Well, a lot of kids nowadays think they're gonna go, 4 for 4. They're gonna catch every ball. Yeah. And society has kind of groomed them to think that. I mean, think about it. Especially when I was a kid, I remember the Rawlings gloves. Okay, remember when they had the autograph in it? Branded? Yeah. Bro, I had Kirk Gibson. I had no idea who that was. Yeah. But if you you ask me now, I know who Kirk Gibson is. I'm 7, 8 years old. I don't know who Kirk Gibson is. Mm-hmm. I wasn't a Dodgers fan. Mm-hmm. And that was back in the 80s, it was... he's infamous for doing the running around the bases. He hits a home run. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Didn't know who it was. I wanted Nolan Ryan. I knew somebody had a Nolan Ryan. I was jealous. Yeah. But I played. Yeah. It didn't affect anything else. Yeah. But I remember I guess that's the only thing that's selfish I remember being is, why do I have Kirk Gibson? I don't think my mom even looked at the gloves. Yeah, she just says, look, this will fit you. Yeah. And didn't even realize. I mean, I can't imagine them costing any different. The Kirk Gibson was on sale. I can't imagine that. I just think she didn't know who he was either. Yeah. And it's not like my dad shopped for it, so he was like, but I'll never forget. I'm like, Kirk Gibson. Mm-hmm. Who's this guy? Yeah. Who's this bum? Yeah. Everybody else had, like I said, Nolan Ryan and Bo Jackson and all these other guys, and I'm like, I want to be like that. Yeah. I want to be like that guy who's got the cool glove, Yeah. But so let's see. So we talked about your freshman year. Mm-hmm. Sophomore year, you said you got, and then those sophomores, they were going to be juniors. So did you do well your sophomore year? Or did you guys?
I did really good. Yeah. I think my sophomore year, so like the first month, I caught inflammation in my elbow. Mm-hmm. Just growing. Right. Obviously, and your body's gonna change and stuff. Like you hit you're hitting a spurt a little bit. I mean, I'm not tall.
5'9". Well, you're taller than me, so.
So I mean, obviously your body's growing. Yeah, your body's growing. So yeah. No, I knew like we were good. That's whenever Garrett Cave, Carl Graham, they're all seniors. You know, I hung out with Carl a lot. Like I always rode with him everywhere.
Yeah.
And he brought me on this tribal team after my ninth grade years. It was this ninth grade year summer going into 10th grade. I played for Chet Lemon Juice, so I rode with him to the tournaments all the time, and I played. And then obviously 10th grade, I was 10th grader, and we were good, man. We just never like clicked like how we wanted to. That team we should have done a lot more damage.
Right.
We should have done a lot more damage. The chemistry was there. It just never clicked for some reason on the field. It was weird, but like. Dude, we bust our butts, man. Yeah. We still came out every day trying to, obviously win, knowing we're going to win. But, like, something just was kind of off. I don't know what it was. But, like, I remember we lost to the Villages, either in districts or in the first game of regionals. I think it was districts.
Yeah.
To go into this championship. We should have won that game. We just, like, it just never clicked.
Right.
And then obviously my junior year, team that went to states, my best friend, two of my best friends, Isaiah, Jalen Dorsey, Isaiah Cullum, two of my best friends growing up in high school. Like, and then we had Trent Upshaw, we had Quint Morrison, Matt Todd was a senior that year.
Matt Todd,
Dang. It was me, we had Jeremy Sisko, and then you had my brother's kind of freshman year. You had Diego, you had Nate, Debo, Gabriel, but like we had Maurice, Jalen's brother. Yep. He helped us a lot too, and dude, that team right there has so much chemistry and it just clicked, man. Because we played a lot of tri-ball together too, so I think that's why it clicked. So I think our sophomore year, team, everyone was scattered with tri-ball, and then a lot of people didn't play tri-ball, obviously because of football and stuff like that, and plus they just like played baseball when the season came around for high school.
Right.
But like my junior year, that team really cared, and we were good. Like I remember, I still don't shade at anyone before, at South Sumter, and like the guys who came before us and stuff, but I put that team before any team.
Yeah.
And it's because the way we clicked.
Right.
Isaiah pitched, I caught, and then I will close out the game. We'll switch. He's a catcher. I'm a pitcher now. And it's like you couldn't beat that duo.
Yeah.
Then our outfielder, you had Jalen Dorsey center field. You had Debo right field. You had Maurice James left field.
Speed.
Third base is either Alan Green, R.I.P. That's my boy. He's I loved him. You know what I'm saying?
Good guy.
Had him at third base or Nate. You switch in and out. Had my brother at shortstop. You had Trent Upshaw at second. You had Quint Morrison at first base. Yeah. We were loaded, man. Yeah. We were ballers. Yeah. I remember in the regionals, we were like just climbing. We beat Keystone Heights. We beat Fort White. We beat Bishop Moore, who was a powerhouse, at their house. Yeah. And it was a packed game.
Wow.
That's when I knew. I was like, dang, South Sumter's on it right now. We're on the map right now, baby. So we're going to ride with it. Obviously, it didn't click for us at semifinals in the States. We just had a lot of hiccups right there, man.
Who was that?
We played Trinity Christian.
Okay.
They had Austin Martin, who was a first rounder. Yeah. Winter Vanderbilt. He was a first round with the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
And then they had J.C. Flowers, who was got drafted with Pirates, and they had like three other dudes.
I didn't know he played there.
Yeah, he played at Florida State.
Okay. Yeah.
And they had a couple guys, man. But I was like, man, we could have won that game. We could have win about it a different way, but hey, you live and learn. But we made it to States, and we were happy. I mean, a lot of us cried, obviously, because we were like, man, we're right there. We should have won.
Right on the
because if we would have beat Trinity Christian, we're winning the championship game.
Yeah.
I knew it, like, not even saying because we're like, we were just like the best. No, we were dogs.
So Trinity Catholic.
Trinity Christian.
Trinity Christian.
I believe they ended up winning. They beat Bishop. It's like Bishop something out of Fort Myers.
I was wondering who they played next because that was the semifinal. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
And man, we were just there. Just that team clicked, and then dude, that was the best years of baseball right there. Like you can that's whenever I was like 10th grade. Isaiah was going to Polk State. Jalen was going to Seminole State, and me coming in. My junior year fall, I was going to FIU. Okay. So like all these guys I already knew is like these scouts and everything, but they knew Jalen and Isaiah obviously because they're seniors, and like Jalen and Isaiah were good.
Right.
All right. They're like played a key role.
Yeah.
I was just a little guy, the catcher, and you know, I held my own. Like I've always been the little guy, the underdog, and I'm fine. I love that story.
Yeah.
You know, and with that, like I was like, man, we got so much talent, and there's like hidden talent too. I guarantee you, like Trent Upshaw, Quint Morrison, and all those other guys, I bet you if they would stay with it and like trial ball and stuff like that, they could have easy went on. Like obviously, but like everyone changes their minds, you know.
Everybody does their own thing.
Life changes, you know. Senior year, we were better record than we were our junior year. We were like 20-something and 5.
Oh wow.
the year junior year when we went to States, we were like 20-something and 7 or 8. I was throwing a no-hitter in my senior year against the Villages. I hated them. Rivals. They're just like, they should never been on our level. Just like, not throwing shade, it just should never been. Something happened, man. Like, we lost that game. I was throwing no-hitter. We were winning 1-0, 2-0, something like that. We weren't really hitting, but we were still winning. I was throwing a good game, dude. I was like, no hitting. Obviously, it's a good game. Through the 6-7 innings, throwing a no-hitter.
Right.
The guy let a hit or something happened. He got on. I was like, okay, that's fine. Then a base hit comes again. I think he's got on second, and then a base hit happened. He's trying to score, throw it home, got him. Nathan goes to tag him. Nate Eastburn goes to tag him. Dude's out of the baseline, bro. Like, there's a rule. Out of the baseline. Let's go. The umpire goes. And then he keeps running. I know who it was. Didn't label. I played with him in Wildwood. You know, he's my buddy, you know, back when we were little. Runs. He kept running. The umpire goes like this. They didn't even say he's out. He just went like this. And then he just kept running. When he hit home plate, he goes, whoa. What happened?
Yeah.
And then from there, I called timeout because I wanted to tell Coach Foote. I didn't know, me being a player, I wouldn't know how many timeouts it was till you can change your pitcher. Everyone thought I took myself out the game. I didn't take myself out the game. I'm not like that. I was like, Coach, can you appeal that, bro? And he was like, I got to take you out the game. I was like, what? I go out the game.
Oh, no.
And we done lost that game. And I was like, dang, what a sorry way to go out my senior year.
So you can't call timeout?
There's like, you get like 2 or 3 timeouts. Oh, you get so many,
just like a...
Yeah, like basketball.
Like Chris Webber.
Like, yeah. And I didn't know that, I didn't know I was going to get taken out of the game because, you know, that was already our final timeout. And I was like, no way.
I didn't even know that. I've never even seen it.
So that happened. And I was like, what a way to go out my senior year. I mean, obviously I'm balling. I was like, we had the team to go back and do the same thing. And we were just as strong. Right. And I was like, dang.
Yeah.
That was on me, but like the umpires, we were playing the Villages too. I'm not saying they cheated or anything, but like, come on, dude, you gotta know the rules. Like, don't do that because like you did this and then you call safe, you know. But high school was fun, man. Yeah, like high school was fun. Remember Grand Slam USA over here? Oh yeah, remember that was a big thing. Yeah. So there was I ain't name no names. All right, I was 13. It's going before. I should have said this before going into my freshman year. I'm born with a club foot, by the way. You know, it's deformed. Going to Grand Slam USA all the time for like a year, you know, throwing bullpens to my dad. I remember I throwing one bullpen. I remember I started throwing a splitter. It was gross. And that's why I knew I was going to be a pitcher. I was telling my dad, and he was getting so mad at me. He was like, I want you to stay catching and hitting and stuff too. I was like, yeah, I will, but I love pitching more. I want to go to college and do all that. The coach who was a head coach at the high school before I came, he had told my dad, he was like, he's good, but he'll never play for me. And I was like, why? Because his foot. My dad didn't tell me that till we got home and like probably like a couple weeks. I don't know, I remember, but he told me. I remember him telling me, he's like, you know what he said? He's a head coach at the high school. He goes, he ain't gonna make his team. Well, why? Remember that hurt my heart, dude. Yeah. And he goes, because your leg. When I heard that, I said, oh. Yeah. That's when everything broke out. Yeah. I said, I'm not here to prove him. Yeah. I'm here to prove myself. So I think that had a lot with me being successful how I am today. Because I'm like, you can't tell me nothing. Yeah. I don't care who you are. That's basically him saying, you ain't going to be on my team because of that. And I was like, all right, bet. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. And I never seen him since then, you know? I don't know what happened or whatever, but I felt like that helped me out so much in my career. Motivated you, yeah. Motivated me so much, man. Like, there was days where I would cry, like, at my house, I don't in the field or anything, cry. I'm like, dude, I'm going to get everyone who thinks, I don't care even if you're not talking, I feel like you're talking, I'm gonna get you.
Right.
I'm gonna outplay your son.
now.
I'm gonna outplay the dad who thinks his son's better than me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made me climb.
Yeah.
And it helped me because in that mindset, I mean, back then I'm sorry to a lot of my friends if I came off like that way. It just helped me. There's a reason why I moved on. You know?
That's something that you wouldn't just normally just be like share with everybody. You know, a lot of that's a guy thing. You don't guys don't share their feelings.
Yeah.
So you show it by actions. I was gonna say, you know who Jim Abbott is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jim Abbott, when he threw his no-hitter, he sent a video to his old coach that said he would never make it in the league. So there's always been doubt. Speaking of Jim Abbott pitched a no-hitter with basically one hand. And I know that doesn't sound like a big thing, but the other part is he has a record for 2 hits. He swung with one arm. One arm. So I'm like, guys, if you can't look at that and find some kind of motivation for just your daily life, I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Check your pulse.
Yeah, I know. And I could probably, when I was younger, man, I didn't like wearing shorts, man, to be honest with you. I was like real kind of embarrassed a little bit. I'm like, dang, why is this to me? You know, why is my leg like this? And like my mom, I mean, I'm not gonna say when I was younger, I'm a mama's boy. I believe I'm still a mama's boy, but it's not like, you know, the weird type, you know, of just I love my mom, that's my mom, you know.
Right.
She always have my back, man.
Right.
And I love her, bro.
Yeah.
Like she kept me going. My dad obviously kept me going. You hear a lot like, oh, he's got this, he got that. And like, I would be embarrassed, dude. I would wear pants for the longest time in elementary. And like something here, I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to show that thing off.
Yeah.
And I'm going to prove him like, I got one leg,
it's
dude.
you.
I got one leg and I'm better at baseball. That should be embarrassing to you, not to me. So that I started thinking that way. I didn't say it, but I started thinking that way and like something clicked. I'm like, dude, I love my leg, man. Like God gave this for a reason.
That's right.
Maybe he was like, hey, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you a challenge. And I feel like I did good for the most part, you know what I'm saying? And it just, like, seeing a lot of those kids, and I had, like, when I got picked up, I see a lot of, like, guys, people I didn't even know on social, like, they come out of nowhere on social media. You get, like, I get a lot of mail to this day.
Right.
Like, man, thank you're an inspiration to my kid. And I thought that was like, there's no way. Like, you're lying. But, like, they told me their story, and I was like, it hit me. And I was like, man. Like, not almost to where I'm, like, tear-eyed. I'm like, it hit home for me. I was like, man. I was like, I remember when days were hard, man. Because I played soccer and football growing up. Yeah. And remember, I was like, there's like coaches were scared. I'm like, why are you scared? It's just like my little leg. I got no muscle on it, obviously. Right. But I was like, man, it helped me to get where I was at. And like seeing his story, I remember reading up on, you know, Abbott's story. Yeah. And I'm like, man, people like that. They need more people like that in the world. Yeah. And there's kids, I think there's a kid went viral on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or something. He's hitting bombs or hitting base hits one-handed, and I'm just like, dude, that's passion.
Well, not only that, the whole mechanics behind him throwing a baseball, because I believe he was right-handed, switches the glove and is ready. Yeah, and to get the ball back from the catcher. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is it just made him work 10 times harder. But can I be completely honest with you? I never even noticed. Thanks for watching part 1 of this 2-part segment. Stay tuned for part 2.